Is the mic on? Episode 114, What's Wrong with Orny Adams? Don't try and return stuff at Costco. All I read everywhere, including Reddit, I did a deep dive on Costco. Can you return items? They seem to have a very liberal return policy. I was there once. I saw a guy returning a fridge that was rusty. Like, how many years does it take for a fridge to be rusty? It looked like a fridge my grandparents had, and they took it back. So I bought online some hiking boots. I'm going to go hiking again in Sedona. I'll talk about that on another episode. I'm now a member of REI. I don't want to brag, but I'm Mr. Outdoorsy now. I bought a pair of hiking shoes on Costco.com, had them delivered. These things, they didn't fit at all. Okay, I think I'm going to stop ordering stuff online because I've now ordered 7 pairs of hiking shoes to try. They're all going back. So I go to Costco. I'm in Massachusetts. I was home visiting my parents, and I have the box, and it's in the shipping box. So it's a box of shoes in a shipping box, and I walk in, and I show the person my membership card, and he said, are you doing a return? It's over there. And I said, yeah, I'm doing a return, but I'm going to shop with my parents first. Then when we're in line, I'll go return, give him this whole explanation. Okay. So we do the shopping, and my dad gets in line. And now I'm in the store, and I go through the checkout line, and I go to return it. And the lady at the return counter, not, hi, how you doing? Looks right at me and says, return? I said, yeah. She said, well, what are you doing coming from over there? You're supposed to come in that door. I said, well, I went in, I did some shopping, and then you're not supposed to do that. Why did you come in through the store? You're supposed to come in through, I go, hold on a second. First of all, you're being very aggressive with me. Well, why are you being very aggressive? She goes, well, you're not supposed to come this way. I said, do you think I stole these shoes? You don't even sell these shoes in the store. You can only get them online. Like, what is your problem? Why are you being this aggressive? And I really, when it feels really good when you know you're right and you go after somebody? I'm like, you should never talk to anybody the way you're talking to me, let alone a customer. This is the type of person that should have never left their house when COVID ended. We shouldn't have told her. She should still be in the house. So Costco, which I love, now apparently they have the most liberal return policy unless you go in the wrong door. What's Wrong with Orny Adams? Episode 114, 113. My mom said, hey, the title of your podcast is grammatically incorrect. My mom apparently doesn't know the great Sammy Hagar said, tomorrow may not never come. F tomorrow. Tomorrow might not never come. My guest today, I can't believe this, guys. Don't say anything. I can't believe you're even here, especially in light of what's going on in the world right now with another big trial. The most famous house guest ever.
I offered rent, and OJ said he didn't want my money, and that was it.
So he let you stay there for free?
Yes.
Now, were you an aspiring actor back then, sir?
Yes.
And you still are?
Yes.
Did you think it might be advantageous to you to stay with the defendant and get to know him for your acting career?
I didn't think that. I never asked for anything like that. I was getting rent-free, so we didn't ask anything.
Mm-hmm. Did you think that your friendship with him, your acquaintanceship, especially living on his property, might send acting roles your way?
I didn't think that. I never asked. I was hopefully getting things on my own. Mm-hmm. But so if he'd bring up on his own. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going for the same parts.
Do you remember this? Yeah. My guest today is Kato Kaelin. Go ahead.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I felt just that moment. I've not heard that at all. 30 years.
Come on.
30 years. I have not heard that at all. I get goosebumps because it brought me right back. I'm not making this up. It just brought me back to that moment. I feel like, I'm sitting. Do I have to swear in, by the way?
What's that? You have to, you have to be sworn in.
I'm just sworn in with you or
yeah,
what?
yeah. You have to be sworn in. You have to be nervous.
This is honestly, that's the first time I've ever heard that again since then. I have a book of transcripts at my house.
Yeah.
I just have the entire transcripts.
Yeah.
I've never opened them up. I don't want to look at them.
No, who wants to read?
Yeah. Who wants to? And so you playing that, and I remember the line, and I remember not expecting to get a reaction because I thought, oh, we're in court. And then people started laughing. And you're a comedian. It just took all the pressure off. It just felt like that was just natural. It was a natural moment for me to talk like that.
Right.
Just to say something that was really me. And then it, I guess, broke up the everybody that was in the courtroom.
That was amazing. You seem so. In fact, Marcia Clark's first question to you was, "Are you a little nervous today?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally was. Let's face it. I said this before. First time ever in my life I was in a courtroom. Ever, never, no parking, nothing. I had no outstanding tickets, anything, and I'm in there for a double homicide with someone that I know dearly, and it was. To this day, everything kind of caused these problems in my stomach.
Yeah, I can
Because
imagine.
oh my God, it was just amazing for me to go through that. So I'm so glad it's over. That's you know what, Orny, I just people always ask me about the past and all that. There's nothing you can change in the past. Everything I do from this moment on is for the present and the future, and to make things better for other people in life. And I always paid forward. That's my thing, and I think you know that. And you even said to me at the Adam Carolla event, Kato, you got positive energy. And I said, Orny, you got positive energy. Do my podcast. I said, yeah, I'll be in the guest trailer.
Yeah.
I'm behind your house. I love
Whoa,
it.
don't say the word guest. This is you're not staying here.
No, I know. Look, I've never won the Heisman. Don't worry. I'm not going to hurt anybody.
How old were you at the time of that trial?
33.
And were
33.
you high? Like you looked high.
No, it's so funny. People thought I did drugs. To this day, I know you won't believe this. I've never even smoked pot.
Wow.
I swear. Like I
believe
I'm not
it.
sworn in. I haven't. I've always, and even in college, I was always the guy that's kind of like, you guys need to do that. I don't need to. I'm already there.
Yeah.
I'm already there naturally.
Yeah.
So I've never
such a
done it.
Fun energy. Yeah.
And I don't. And I have tons of friends that do drugs and whatever, but I don't need to.
Yeah.
So
I was living in Boston at the time.
Yeah.
I'm a Boston boy. You're a Wisconsin boy. And I was watching the trial, and you epitomized like a California stereotype. And it was like so perfect. You were so lovable. And yeah.
But everybody said that I'm from Wisconsin. I surfed the web. That's about it.
Yeah.
I had no surfing. I actually have done some surfing, but yeah, I totally get it. I totally why people would call me certain names, but I just roll with the punches.
Yeah.
And guys like Leno and Letterman for a year, I was there, joking the monologues all the time. Right. But that doesn't bother me at all. When people say something that would hurt my family, my mom, that bothers me.
Right.
I can handle them, sort of like Teflon.
Are they still with us?
No.
Your parents? No.
Parents aren't with us. My mom was, my father passed away before the trial. My mom would just watch everything. And I go, don't watch these shows at that time, Current Affair, hard copies.
Right.
And I'd say, Mom, they're going to say some terrible things. Don't. And that would make her even watch it more.
Yeah.
But she was really affected, and that affected me more than anything else. But you know what? The same friends I've got kind of from high school and college are still my friends today. And I think if you have a good base of friends, you can do anything.
Right.
They keep you humble, and they also are very supportive.
Are you an only child?
6.
Whoa.
We had one brother died. Sorry, so we had 7.
Be careful of hitting this thing because it causes the audio.
Hey, I'll do what I want to do, pal.
And you can take the headphones off now if you
good.
if you want to. We won't play any more
Yeah, I
audio.
love my
That's
hair.
it
The
from the
hair's fine.
trial. Let's put them out of the camera. Yeah. So you're one of 6.
One of 7. We had one that passed away early in life. So very large family. And
What do
very
they
close
think?
family. At that time, they were thinking. Some of the brothers are kind of thinking it's cool when I visit Wisconsin. They could be free drinks everywhere I'd go. People would want to buy you things. So they kind of like that part. Yeah. So and same with my buddies. My buddies we would go out during that time, and obviously protective of me. But let's face it, these guys were single. And they're trying to get any kind of scraps with girls because it was a hectic time of craziness with people, just crazy. But I was called everything from the freeloader, a pariah, an assassin's target. So the court of public opinion about me was sort of like this, sort of negative, and then it became positive because it took almost 30 years.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear about the positive. We want the negative.
The negative.
You know what go ahead.
Yeah, but it is like that. I think people, especially in LA, I've had my SAG card for almost 40 years before the trial, and I used to go to premieres all the time. I'd go to movie premieres, but people would see that it's me at the premiere, and they go, well, look at him now. Now he's going to premieres. And I was like, no, I was going to these before, but now I'm famous.
Right.
And that was it. That was my whole life. And so I screen tested. So my friend, Aaron Meyerson, he worked at New Line Cinema. I hung out with Aaron Meyerson and a guy named Dan Loeb. Dan Loeb owns now Third Point, which is he's one of the richest men in the world. So he and I
stayed at his house.
Yeah, Third Point. Well, now he bought that Mayflower Hotel.
Oh yeah,
he's a very, very wealthy guy. Still friend to this day. Aaron at New Line gave me a script. Says, "Got to be this movie. We're going to shoot this film in the summer." So he gave me this script. I read it. It was in May that I read it. May and June, I got tested. And that was 1994. It was Dumb and Dumber.
Wow.
And the Jeff Daniels role with
you'd be
hair,
perfect for that.
But everything, Rick Montgomery cast it, so I'll never forget that because
Screw him.
Later in life, I met the Farrelly brothers and told them the story, and they just fucking loved it.
Oh, yeah. You would have been. Yeah.
Loved it. Not that I would even get the part.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like getting good auditions at that time. And then my life stopped completely. Just stopped because I was kind of like they said, too hot to handle. And I was a caricature of myself.
What fascinates me about you is you're a person who your entire life and existence was changed by a singular event that you didn't sign up for.
Right.
And I feel like a little bit of a kinship with you. Like when I saw you the other day at Adam Carolla's premiere, the first thing, I gave you a hug and I said, congratulations on the death. And I didn't mean to, make light of somebody dying.
Right.
But I said, did you get your life back? Like, I said, I've been waiting years for some people to die. And it must have been a release, right? A relief and a release.
I think that his death, for me, it's I don't think it's a closure for anybody, especially for Fred Goldman and Kim Goldman. There's no closure because you're always going to think of losing your son or your brother, and for the Browns, the family, the parents I think have passed away, but the sisters, I know how tight they were. So there's maybe the closure of OJ's death, but never closure of losing their loved one. And so the thing is, though, it'll never stop because every trial that goes on, I'll get a call from a network because the Simpson trial is the template for every trial that goes on, and they compare it to that. So it always will live on, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it must drive you nuts. It's this albatross around your neck.
Yeah. You know what? It's the trial that's coming up next is the Idaho killers. Yeah. I know they'll contact me for that. It's sort of weird to be associated with all that stuff. I used to, I knew Robert Blake. I knew Phil Spector.
Wow. Wow. Let's talk about Spector in a minute.
Yes, it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, I should just be a cardboard cutout at every crime scene of a Kato showing up. It's like Kato Kaelin CSI.
Yeah.
But the Phil Spector story is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was fair to you. You're a guy who just wanted to do some good old-fashioned house guesting.
Yeah,
and next thing you know, this guy commits a murder. I won't stay at anybody's house now if I suspect they might commit a murder. Like, I go, that guy could commit a murder. I'm not staying there. Like, your whole life was spun out because of this one event.
Agree with you 100%. Let me ask you a question. Do you think, in your life, we live in L.A., do you think that you've ever actually walked by, you go shopping at the Grove, you go to a Trader Joe's, wherever, where you actually think you probably said, that's a killer?
Yeah.
Like, you probably met someone that killed someone.
Oh, I think that when I'm on stage. I look out. There was a time I'd look out and I think, I bet people in the audience have AIDS or, or some disease. I bet there's cancer. Now I think definitely murderers and rapists. I look out and I think I've definitely performed in front of some really bad people. Of course. I mean, this city is so deviant. And I didn't realize until social media and all these documentaries how casual murder is. It appears there's a lot of people killing and getting away with it.
Crime does pay. Crime doesn't pay. I think crime does pay. And, I recently did Dr. Phil's show, and Dr. Phil, the shows about true crime shows, 78% of people are addicted to true crime.
Right.
So that shows you the market for true crime. And it's people love it. I think people love playing detective.
I think so. And we're also, I think deep down inside, probably people feel some violent tendencies and they're envious of people who act out on them.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. That's a tough, only because I say that it's a tough one because I think I was raised from my mom and dad always kissing.
Yeah.
And if they got in an argument, they'd always kiss. But I think that there's, I'm on X a lot, Twitter. And so when you watch that stuff, you see actual crime. You see people getting killed. And it's like nothing. You can see looting. You can see it live.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's like, it's insanity. And you know that one day you're going to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. I'm not a violent person. My resolutions don't involve violence. Like I use my mind or talk to people, but I'm fascinated that people casually just take a life. And I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it.
I think it's part of it. I think it's also part of it because of how district attorneys that certain places, murder is not in life. It's not, they're going to get out at some point. And it's no longer, there's just so much crime that goes on in certain states that they can get off for certain things.
Right.
And so I'm aware because I read and look at all the things that are going on in the world. And it's just,
that's breaking news that Kato Kaelin reads.
I read it in color.
And what do you read? In color? Not supposed to color the New York Times, but hey,
I'm in the crosswords many times.
But you fill in the crosswords a little color.
Oh, Kato's been in the crosswords many times.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
I think I've been in crosswords before.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
This is a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah. So take me back. I guess when I listened to clips from the trial, I didn't realize that you were Nicole Brown Simpson's house guest first.
Yeah. So I met Nicole in Aspen with my buddy, Grant Kramer, and Grant was an actor on General Hospital. He's a complete stud.
I Googled him. Where's he now?
I don't know what Grant's doing.
Really?
He's probably teaching acting. Great actor, and he's been in tons of films, but he was the big heartthrob in the 80s and 90s. So the story was that Grant and I started a business together, casting. So we start casting, and we start casting extras in films. So if we had 200 people show up, we get a certain amount of money for each extra, and I'd be the guy wrangling them. We did really well. We decided to go to Aspen. That's when they locked eyes because Grant did the celebrity skiing, and she was with him, but they knew each other from this, and they sort of hit it off. I was the third wheel, and they...
Were they dating?
No, not dating. They started dating a little bit after that trip. So that trip, we all hung out together for the 4 or 5 days, and so Grant and her hit it off, and then when coming back to California, they that's when they started seeing each other. And then I lived in Hermosa Beach, would go to Nicole's parties, saw that she had a guest house in Gretna Green.
She married to OJ at this time?
No, they're divorced.
Oh, they're divorced?
So, yeah, they're divorced, so she's doing it while she's divorced. And I said, who lives in this house? You know, now I'm her friend, I can openly speak and just joke, and she knows I'm kind of fun to be around. She goes, nobody, you want to rent it? So I rented from her, and I paid.
Oh.
But I paid, I lived at Gretna Green, and the woman that I met was Catherine Oxenberg, who was on a show called Dynasty at the time. And then we all started hanging out. It was like very Hollywood.
It's weird. And then was there ever anything physical between you and Nicole Brown Simpson?
Nope, nothing. I never. We had friendship, and that's it.
Really?
Never.
Because it seemed like OJ thought something was going on, and that's why he stole you as a house guest.
Well, it's I found out later that he did have a private eye look after me while I lived there to see what kind of guy I was.
Yeah.
So obviously I never did anything, and so he liked me. And I think basically the kids, Sydney and Justin, love me. I love them. And I just, I was not the babysitter, but if they ever needed help, I'd help. If they needed dinner, I'd cook them or take them somewhere. So I became very close like this. I was the Kato if I was there to have fun with them. And they loved me. I love them. They named the dog Kato out of love for me, I believe.
Did the dog Kato find the glove? Or no?
Nope. Dog, no. I remember when Kato died, the dog, it was on People magazine, and people freaking out. They thought that I died.
You died?
Yeah, honest to God.
Why didn't the maid like you?
I don't know if that's true. I think the maid did like me.
But
I
you
think
said
the
that at the
maid,
trial.
I think the maid wanted me out at a certain point out of OJ's house, and I actually was moving out 2 weeks before this.
Right.
On San
Oh,
Vicente
boy.
and found a place. There's so many different stories that I actively pursuing to get out of OJ's, and it was sort of like the blueprint of life. It's like, no, this is what your life is going to be. You're still going to be there in this month.
And at the time when you were testifying, you believed OJ was innocent.
There were certain times I was teetering, but in the beginning, yes. Yes, beginning, yes. There were certain times that I kind of freaked out, like when the cops walked me out of the room of the Monday, I think it was June 13th, it would have to be, that 1994. What they had to do was they questioned me and Arnell in the living room. This is what we didn't know. What was
Who's
going
Arnell?
On. Arnell was OJ's daughter.
Okay.
From the first marriage. So no one knew what was going on until the cops walked me out of that house after being interviewed, and they said, "Watch out for the blood." There were little blood droplets all over the
Really?
wooden floor, and I was like, "How did they get blood in here?" And so your mind starts once again playing detective, and I love forensic files.
But also when a glove is found at the crime scene and then a glove is found outside of OJ's house, that sort of says... Oh, they thought it was planted. That's right. That's
Yeah,
what
there's
okay.
theory, and they thought the blood was planted.
Ah.
And I became friends with Tom Lang, the lead detective, because he's done my show a few times. And it's just amazing how much evidence was withheld. So it's evidence dismissed.
what?
Okay, so OJ's the interview. They had the first interview. He sort of was kind of admitting guilt a bit in the tapes. They never brought up the finger cut. They never brought up evidence dismissed. There was a thing at the airport where Tom Lang saw the guy, OJ, putting his hand partially in this duffel bag that I kept going. During my testimony, I said there was a duffel bag that he didn't want me to touch, but the duffel bag was brought up in the limo, where the guy behind the limo saw him putting stuff in a garbage can.
Yeah.
And he recognized OJ because his wife was in charge of American Airlines Celebrity. So he was just on our show.
What's your show?
Alan Park. I was 1 Degree Scandalous.
Okay.
We handle all scandals. Myself and Tom Zenner. It's really, you'll be on it if you get a scandal.
Can't I comment on other people's?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm going back in my head. I'm just thinking of all the stuff that was OJ with the mask and a fake mustache when he did the Bronco chase with $10,000 in cash. That's never brought up. So it's just those sort of things I think kind of say guilt.
Yeah. I think he was shocked when he got off.
Oh, yeah.
Shocked.
Yeah, there's something that he whispered to Robert Shapiro. I think it's public knowledge now. I don't know what it is, but you can find it on YouTube. And I think same with Robert Kardashian.
Yeah. About what?
About that they can't believe he got off.
Yeah. You know what I hate more than anything? Now I'm looking into the camera. I'm talking to defense attorneys. I know everybody has the right to a legal defense. I can't stand when they get off a clearly guilty person and it's not guilty. They always put one of the defense team members puts their hand on their shoulder after the verdict is read, not guilty. Like, it's like you're putting your hand on evil. Like, you did your job. I understand you have to provide this service, but it looks scummy. I don't know if that was Robert that did that, Kardashian.
I don't know. I think that picture is sort of the iconic picture. I think it's Cochran.
Oh, it is Cochran?
I think it's Cochran with his hand on his shoulder. I could be wrong.
I don't even know how to say Kardashian. What is it?
Kardashian. Kardashian.
Okay. What was OJ like as a person?
As a person, you know what? He's charismatic. He really is. He's a charismatic person. People just were drawn to him, and he loved being adulated by people. He loved people coming up for autographs. He just loved the fact that I'm OJ.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when the people that decided that he's guilty and people not after the verdict, it didn't bother him. And that's a sign of a sociopath.
Come on.
People that didn't
What do you mean
like
it didn't
him.
bother
Oh, I
him?
didn't hang out. Well, he didn't bother. He still did his stuff. He still went out and golfed. He still was out in public. I would think after something like that, you'd hide forever. That you got the biggest break of your life.
I mean,
I just think it's like, how does he because his ego is that big.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened this weekend with Puff Daddy. There was a violent incident that happened in 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel here in Los Angeles. You see him beating a woman, I think her name was Cassie, and dragging her. It's on video, and he's making a video apology less than 24 hours later. There's no sort of like, that's how I know. I'm very skeptical of charismatic people. I always have been. I think there's a lot of con that goes on, especially in this city.
I saw that video too. The ending when it said sponsored by Sean John underwear. It's not a good thing.
Come on, is that Joe?
Hey, I don't know. Wait, it's Orny Adams. It's my turn. No, but I did see the video, but I think it was.
Does Sean John underwear strangle you? Strangle your nuts? Is that?
It doesn't make my penis any bigger.
Yeah,
and that's not true. That's not that whole thing about black men bigger penis. Not true.
Not true.
Very small. The thing is, when you see that video, I think that's sociopathic behavior because it's really about him. He doesn't. I don't think he mentions her in it. Right? It's about him. I mean, he's sorry about it, but it's not going to fly.
Yeah.
I think he's going to take a beating with that stuff that's going on.
He might literally take a beating from somebody. Yeah. But I was watching on the plane, I'll talk about this in the next episode of my podcast, a documentary called The Donut King, about a guy who came over from Cambodia, taught himself how to make donuts by interning at Winchell's, then bought a donut store, kept buying donut stores, and so charismatic, so lovable. The ending is shocking. It's shocking what this guy did. And I should have known.
Shocking because there's murder in it?
There's no murder, but, turns out to be a deviant, not good person. And his family's not talking to him anymore. They may be now.
So he's a Vietnamese guy?
No, Cambodian.
Oh, Cambodian that came to America.
Yes.
And got into donuts.
Yeah.
And this is like a Netflix doc?
No, I saw it on the plane. It was from 2020. I tried to contact the director. I'd like to have the director on. It was 2020. I have a personal connection with Cambodia that at some point I'm going to bring up on the podcast. It's kind of like a secret nobody knows about me. And it's kind of interesting. And
were you in the war?
I was not. But he fled the war in 1975 or 76. He fled the Khmer Rouge.
Well, the killing fields.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
again, more killing.
More killing. You know the story of the killing fields.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor that was saving lives, he's ditching death by the Khmer Rouge of everybody getting their beheaded or shot and killed. He comes to, and I think that guy came to L.A. He won the Academy Award. His life story. Sam Waterston was the actor, and he had the actual guy on there. I think he got killed by a gang member
in San Francisco.
Was it San Francisco?
I think it was.
It's a story that's amazing. I was like, oh my god, the guy
fled war,
cheat death his whole life, and gets killed.
Yeah, in our lovely state.
Unbelievable story.
It is unbelievable.
Oh, and now I'm like titillated about your Cambodia thing.
Yeah.
You have a connection to Cambodia.
Yes. And I'm trying to record the people in my life that are involved in this
Can
story.
I do 5 questions with you? And say yes or no? Or is it going to bother you if I?
No, I wish more guests ask me questions, to be honest.
Does it have to do with you living there?
No.
Does it have to do with you dating Cambodian?
No.
Is there a connection of you in Cambodia with business?
No. 2 more.
Okay.
Maybe you should have called us 3 questions.
You
ran out of questions.
You have a connection to Cambodia, but nothing to do with that. Does it have to do with donuts?
No.
Okay. Does it have to do with comedy?
No.
Okay, I lost.
Yeah. I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
Tell you off the air. You're a friend.
Okay.
Do you remember how we met?
Tom Green's house. Tom Green, after we did Celebrity Big Brother, Tom and I, we were tomato. So then we met at this party.
What do you mean tomato?
During the Celebrity Big Brother, you can't watch TV, internet, nothing.
Oh.
So after 21 days, I got out of the house. Tom was still there. I watched the show, and everybody started a campaign, bring back Tom and Kato, tomato.
They asked me to do Big Brother. They made a hard offer. They offered me either $25,000 or $40,000, which, at the time, still, I'll tell you, they're the leaf blowers. I love the background ambiance of this.
Is it okay if I blow my nose quick? Allergies?
Yeah. And there's water for you there. This will be a good time for me to talk about my tour dates. You can go to Orny Adams.
How's that?
Wow.
That's not a car alarm.
I have a great editor named Eric Stoltz, but I don't know how great he is. I don't know if he can.
Eric Stoltz?
Yeah. Not the actor.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Eric
Everybody.
Stoltz, Cher, what was it called? Mask.
The Mask.
No, not The Mask. That's Jim Carrey.
No. He was in.
Called just Mask.
Oh, Mask.
Mask. Come on, man. Don't do trivia with me.
He's not the guy who went smoking. That's not him.
That's Jim Carrey.
You know what's so funny
and
is
then Jamie Kennedy in Mask too, and Son of Mask.
Eric Stoltz is a guy that basically, was making minimum wage, approached me, wanted to record my comedy, and now he's big time working for Apple. I mean, I
Really?
basically launched his career. He's an audio genius, is what he is. I'm joking around, but he was so excited that when I said his name, Jay Leno had the same reaction as you, blew his nose, and then said Eric Stoltz, the actor. And it's like this guy, this is a big deal for him.
Yeah.
That Kato Kaelin just said his name.
Oh, Eric Stoltz is great.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Does he now that he's like making big bucks, is he still your buddy? And like, I'll do you a favor.
He's working on this podcast for
Oh,
me.
geez, Eric, I got one too. We'll talk later.
Yeah, he's.
And by the way, you're a much better actor than the other Eric Stoltz.
I don't say this lightly. He's a genius when it comes to comedy.
Very cool.
A screw up on everything else, but that's a whole nother discussion. Okay, OrnyAdams.com/tour. I was in Halifax last week doing the comedy festival.
Halifax.
Yep, and then I went to Ottawa, and you know who got me in at Ottawa? Tom Green. He's Mr. Ottawa.
Is that Tom? Is that where he's based out of? Ottawa?
He was born
In Ottawa.
He's Ottawa, and so is Norm Macdonald, Jeremy Hotz, who was a guest on this podcast. I think when we met at Tom Green's house, I believe you came up to me and were aware of me and my comedy.
Yeah, of course.
How?
Of course, I know who you are. I've seen you perform. I've seen you at Laugh Factory, and I actually think I met you before that, and just passing, of saying hi.
Yeah.
And then that's it. But at Tom's house, the first time I was in the right atmosphere to talk.
It was amazing.
So, yeah.
I go, Kato Kaelin, this is so weird because your real name's Brian.
Yeah, Brian Kato Kaelin.
Yeah, so I go, have you ever thought about getting rid of the Kato now that the trial's over and just divorce yourself completely from that?
I don't know why. I feel like that I'm surrendering. Like, oh, I'm going to get rid of Kato.
Yeah.
Because that's been my
point.
name my whole life. And I've been called that my whole life.
Good, I like that. Don't
But
let OJ killing somebody take that away from you.
Yeah,
I like that.
What do you think, though? Do you think it's
No, because it dates back to Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Forget it. You're right. You're absolutely right. Don't cower.
Yeah. And you know what?
I'm sorry I even said
I've
it.
accepted that I just wrote a show. I think I'll show you the clips after. And it's called Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which we brought up because so many people can relate to the wrong place, the wrong time, of being like the third wheel of a crime. And by third wheel, I mean you see someone in the act that you think has got something to do, and he becomes the most important witness. And there's other people that had the same story, not exact as mine, but there's so many. Like I said, true crime, 78% of people watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like
what
if you watch The Durst Part 2, that killed them all. Robert Durst.
Yeah, I know Robert Durst.
Yeah.
There's what's it called? There's a show about him.
Yeah, I
don't
can't
know what it's
remember.
called.
I just watched 2 episodes last night.
It starts with a J.
The mind is unbelievable. But you see all these people testifying. Some people that just went to school with Kathy Durst, like to medical school, and now they're on trial. I mean, it's got to be nerve-wracking to be sworn in. And, even when I'm up for jury selection, I get a little nervous. It's weird. It's intimidating
I just
being
had
in
it.
there. Did you?
I had jury duty.
Oh, that's
3
rich.
or 4 months ago. So I was in line, and while I'm in line, people are taking pictures. I said, "Oh, this is great. This will get me kicked out of jury duty."
Yeah.
So I get in there. Have you actually gone down to the I think it's called Emma Holtz or whatever center in L.A.? Have you seen it?
No.
How different it is. It's this huge auditorium, and you're sitting with 500 people.
Oh, I've done this. And you're waiting for your number.
You're waiting, and they're
Praying you don't get called because it's one day, one trial. So if you don't get picked that day, they send you home.
They're booking people for like 30 trials.
Oh.
All the trials.
Yeah.
So they're booking. Then they're asking if you're available. And when I was there were some kind of major trials going on because they said this one could go on for a month. They had to talk to certain people, and so I was there from 7 a.m. You get there, and then you.
Have you ever been picked?
No.
Have you served? I haven't either. I get kicked off
I've
every
been
time.
down there I go down. You got once a year, but it's like God.
Can I tell you what you do? How you get kicked off? So they don't even select you as a juror. Just the minute you get in there for the voir dire or whatever it's called, the questioning, just fake you're asleep the whole time. Just, you know. Did
you do that?
No, I disagreed with everything that the defense attorney, or the defense attorney was like, do you know what circumstantial evidence is? And then he went through
I never got to that even that far.
I just fight him on everything, and they're just, and the judge is rolling his eyes because he knows. He knows I'm right.
Are you doing comedy, or are you just you're being really serious?
No, and I go, you know, I don't go, I go under my legal name. I don't put stand-up comic as my profession. I just put I'm in entertainment. But they must Google you, because when I got thrown off and I was walking out and my back was to the judge, I hear the judge yell, where are your tour dates? Or where can we see you live?
That is great.
Yeah.
He knew you.
Yeah,
the judge
knew me.
Oh,
so
God.
Let me just say this quickly. I will this weekend be in Las Vegas at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, May 24th and 25th. Then in June, I'll be at the Ice House in Pasadena. June 22nd, that is. Ice House in Pasadena again. Tickets on sale now. They're already selling. June 28th and 29th, mic drop in San Diego, ornyadams.com/tour. And I have a letter from, do I have the letter from Halifax? I have some fan letters that we can, no, I'm going to read that on the next episode, but I'll read a couple of these fan letters. But I was in Ottawa, and I was in Halifax at the Comedy Festival the night before, playing this gorgeous, it's called the Spats Theater. And gorgeous. I've done this maybe 6 times. And every time you go, you have to do all brand new, material that's never aired on TV at all. So they said, contractually, I needed to provide 8 minutes for TV, but I was closing the show, so please do 15 minutes. I ended up doing 25 minutes and got a leaping standing ovation.
That's great.
And they said, in our 29 years of doing this, we don't think we've ever seen a standing ovation. Certainly not like that. Maybe there was one other, but it was a wave. And I was just
all new stuff. 25 minutes of new stuff.
No, it's new stuff to TV, but it's stuff that I've done.
Got it.
I've developed for years. I really spend a lot of time developing my comedy, which I love. I love cranking. I love to come up with a line. I just read about, an old person falling in the shower and dying. And then I see these commercials for as an old person, have your shower renovated to be old, for old people. I thought, who wants to get old when taking a shower is the most dangerous part of your day? You used to jump out of planes, you served in a war or whatever, and now,
Honey, I'm taking a shower.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, let me hold you up. Don't forget to crawl. They have a shower for old people that you can crawl into, basically.
Yes.
They roll you into it like a donut. And so I write these thoughts down, and then it takes me years to develop, but it was all new material to the festival. And the other thing is, I don't go in with a game plan. I go in and I think I would talk about these things. So they asked me for months before, we need a list of what you're talking about. We need, the lines, all that. I never give it to them. And I go out there and sort of just riff. And I find myself sitting at the edge of the stage organically, not I don't go there and go, yeah, I'm going to sit at the edge of the stage and I'm going to go over here. And I think they understand that I'm really in the moment.
Right.
And when I'm done with being in the moment like that for 25 minutes, I needed to sleep for a week. I did. I was exhausted.
Wow.
Took everything out
Plus
of me.
you're visiting your parents.
Well, I went to, so that was on Friday, and on Saturday, I went to Ottawa. Tom Green got me booked at Yuck Yucks in Ottawa, and this owner, Howard, who couldn't be the nicest guy. There are some people left in comedy that don't care about how much beer is being sold, how much food is being sold, how quickly the show is sold out, are they huge on TikTok? He cares about comedy and what is good for comedy.
Right.
And you can feel it in the community. You can feel the local comics. Local comics all sent me letters, emails afterwards, thanking me, talking about the difference between the first show, which was completely sold out, and the second show that wasn't completely sold out, and how I adjusted and how I did different material. And he's fostering an environment that is rich for comedians and warm and welcoming. And I respect that. So on the second show, I got in trouble. I don't want to say what club, but I worked a local club, and I kind of made jokes from the stage about the club. And the owner got upset. In fact, I won't even say it's in LA, somewhere. And the owner got upset. And I made fun of the club, because it was in the basement. There was an Italian restaurant, and we're in the basement. And I was on stage in front of 1,000 people the night before, and now I'm in the basement. And I said, Howard, does the Italian restaurant even know we're here? What are we doing? We're in a basement. And on the second show, when it was, not sold out, is a nice way of putting it, I said, I'm here because Tom Green told me to come here. And everyone cheered for Tom Green. I said, this is the biggest prank he's pulled off in a decade. Getting me to come here to Ottawa in the basement of an Italian restaurant.
I love it.
Yeah. And Tom's a great guy. But let me just say, I didn't do Big Brothers, no offense to you and Tom, but I thought that's the end of your career.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was like the best thing for me at that time. Only because before that I was hosting Wizard World. So Wizard World is the world's largest Comic-Con. So I was with all the actors that did the Marvel movies, from the Tobey Maguires to Aquaman on DC Comics. So it was great, and it had an entertainment stage. So it was sort of like America's Got Talent. So every city we go to, the talent would come in, mainly singers, magicians, and we'd have that while they're getting autographs of the main stars. So there's always something going on.
Yeah.
So when I did Big
Was
Brother...
OJ up for this, by the way?
No, he didn't make it. He didn't make the cut.
Okay, got it.
So I did the hosting of this show.
Yeah.
And after I did, I took the month off. Mm-hmm. When I came back, I saw the reaction of it got so popular they had to give me my own signing booth while I'm doing the show. And it was like, wow, the power. I never watched Big Brother.
Yeah.
I never watched the show. I just knew that it was an offer. I did it. And it was, I think, one of the best things I've done.
I think it is. And I think I have, my problem is, and my dad said this from an early age, he said, if you go into this business, you're going to have a lot of trouble where art meets commerce.
Yeah.
And he's right. And I had an arrogance. So the reason I'm sitting alone in a Shasta trailer up here in the Hollywood Hills is because I was arrogant. I thought, I'm going to do what Bob Dylan did. I'm not going to speak so much. And I had this arrogance, and it didn't certainly warm me up to other comedians and people in the industry. And I never did America's Got Talent. They made several offers, willing to fly me to any city to audition, ensuring I would get through to a certain round, and Big Brother too. And I thought, no, I'm a comedian. But look what it did to people's careers like Ralphie May and other people. It would give you that exposure instantly overnight.
That's the way you have to look at it too. It's instant.
Yeah.
And those that don't have a chance to come to LA to see you or wherever you're around, as soon as you are doing a show, you become super popular. Everything doubles. Everything triples probably in your social media.
Yeah. Do you still do a lot of Comic Cons?
No, I don't do any. I did one in May of last year. It was my last one. But I get offered to do the hosting. The thing is, though, the Wizard World was sold. It was the greatest job I did for 4 years. I had so much fun traveling to 50 cities.
Yeah.
And COVID actually killed it because it's all about meeting people, hugging them, and doing photos. So I sort of destroyed it. But now it's building back up.
I didn't know Wizard World was so touchy-feely.
Yeah.
When I saw you the other night, we were at Adam Carolla's.
Mr. Bertram.
Yeah. We watched, I don't know what we watched. I don't know where it airs. I don't know. This Adam Carolla guy's a mystery to me. And so I saw you, congratulated you on the death, asked if you had your life back. And I asked you, because you were talking about some projects you're working on, and I got to thinking, I said, how does Kato make money? Because you're famous, but you're not famous for being a rich person.
Yeah. And
people at our level expect us to tip more, to drive certain cars. Like, even when you came up, I'm like, what's Kato driving? And I was wondering how you made money. And then as I was researching you, and I was curious if this was still a source of your income, you had sued the National Examiner? What's the difference between Examiner and Inquirer? But Kato successfully sued the National Examiner for libel after they ran a front page story with the headline, "Cops Think Kato Did It."
No comment.
Really? Still? Come on. They're not going to ask for their money back.
No comment.
Come on.
No comment.
You told me I could ask you anything except one thing. I haven't asked you that one thing.
2 things.
2 things. Okay. All right. Are you allowed to say what is the National Examiner versus National Enquirer? Don't say it.
It's a you have to look at the business. I think they have more than one magazine.
Is this you can live off of type of money?
No comment.
Oh.
No comment, Mr. Adams.
So wait a minute. You settle a lawsuit and they say, all right, but you can't. Let them sue you. Do you realize how good that would be for your career? Let's get the number right now.
You know, the Wizard World company that I worked with, I'll tell you what, that was a great job for me because it was beyond SAG wages.
Oh.
And that was 4.5 years.
I do
I'm involved with a show called Ice Wars too. It's too bad that I can't show you all these clips, but I'll show you afterwards. You'll be blown away.
Yeah.
How cool it is.
Ask me about the cons that I do.
You do cons?
Yeah. I was on a show called Teen Wolf.
You were?
Yeah. 100 episodes we did.
Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf, yeah.
Who was the wolf?
No comment. Tyler Posey.
Tyler Posey?
Yeah.
Is it related to Parker Posey?
No. There was a guy named Dylan O'Brien in it. Tyler Hecklin, Holland Roden, who was a guest on my podcast.
Tyler, who's that Tyler?
He's Superman now, or was. These guys have all gone on to be very successful.
Wait a minute, I do Comic-Con. Superman,
young
we had the other one that played it.
Dylan Sprayberry.
No, the Superman that we had was on WB, really handsome, Tom Welling.
No.
So there's
Crystal was on the show.
Who?
Crystal.
Bill Crystal?
Billy Crystal was on the show. You're aging yourself.
People don't know Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So you did a show called Teen Wolf, based on the Michael J. Fox character,
exactly.
And then secondly, then it was Jason Bateman, and then a TV series called Teen Wolf on
MTV. It was on MTV. It's been on Netflix. It's been on Hulu. It's been on everything. We just shot a movie 2 years ago that was on Paramount Plus.
Are you a wolf?
No, I'm the only guy who's not supernatural. I play the coach. I have no clue what's going on. I never read the scripts. I just showed up and did my lines. And my character is one of the biggest. I can't go anywhere without people coming up to me. In fact, in Burbank yesterday, people came up to me. And then I say, oh, did you know I do stand-up? And then they don't care. They're like, oh, no, we just like you on the show. That's it.
So is the show still running?
It's running somewhere because we still get checks.
Oh, wow.
It's huge.
You played the coach of Teen Wolf?
Yeah.
A basketball coach?
No, we played lacrosse on the show. I think it was lacrosse. I didn't read the scripts.
And where'd you shoot, in Vancouver?
No, we shot in Atlanta and then Los Angeles. It was the greatest gig ever.
I did not know.
Yeah.
No comment.
No comment.
Dude, you're on fire.
Who can I sue? Why does it have to be? I mean, it was for $15 million. Do we have that kind of money? Why are we doing anything? Just retire.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Well, that's the misconception everybody in the world has.
I love working.
I do too. Tell me what you're working on now.
I just wrote a show called Wrong Place, Wrong Time. We shot it with a company called Jupiter Entertainment. Jupiter's the #1 true crime genre network. They they're on Snapped, a show called Snapped on Oxygen. They've got Dr. Kenya. They got John Walsh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm with a group that does all true crime. And now we're in talk with a network right now and hopefully finalizing a deal.
Have you seen the product? How does it look?
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Okay. Well, don't show me because we can't put it out because they own the rights to the sizzle or whatever.
I want to show you later. It's
good. I want to see
it. A quick 2-minute thing you'll love. I know you'll love.
But I know you're producing things.
Yeah.
You're still auditioning.
You know what? I should go back to auditioning. I mean, I don't know who your agents are. I don't have any. So it's one thing.
Tom Green.
He books your job. So it's something I really should do, which is go, you know what? I got to go and sit and do this thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also involved with another company that has to do with sports. Mm-hmm. And when I can talk about that one, it'll be gigantic.
Well, what can you talk about?
Well, I can talk about it. It has to do with you know what? I'm not going to say it yet.
Okay. I want to discuss your childhood. Teen Wolf. I want to discuss you're Brian Kaelin. You're in Wisconsin. What Appleton? What part?
Suburb of Milwaukee called Glendale. Went to Nicolay High School. Nicolay High School is famous because it had Richard Lovett went to high school with me.
Any relation to John?
Richard Lovett was the president of CAA.
Come on, really?
Yeah. CAA, and his brother Steve Lovett was one of the biggest managers. Steve Lovett, Richard Lovett, all my classmates.
Oh my God.
So when I got married at David Zucker's house, who did Airplane. He did Naked Gun. He did all Milwaukee.
Wow.
So our Milwaukee,
he was huge in the 80s.
Yeah, huge 80s and 90s. Well, he did the scary movies, so it was 90s. David and I are still very close.
Is this you only been married once? The woman?
Yeah. Well, no, I was married in college.
Okay,
But,
that doesn't count in Wisconsin. That's typical in Wisconsin. You need to get laid in Wisconsin. If
actually,
you know,
actually, Wisconsin.
here you go, Jesus. Here's a piece of paper. We're gonna have sex now.
Yes, I was raised very strict Catholic. Trust me, it's like my parents were very upset.
Tell her there's 75 kids in your family.
Yeah, 80.
Yeah, one of 75.
Mom had 75. One had 76. She goes, well, I wanted a career too. Anyways, Mom. So, I was talking about what was I saying there about David Zucker?
Yeah, being married at his house. First
no,
wife,
I got married.
second wife.
I got married in California to my first wife. Wonderful woman. And beautiful daughter I have too.
Oh, I didn't know
Tiffany.
that.
Tiffany, who's friends with Sydney and Justin Simpson, because I would have 3 of them. So I knew what it was like to have I have a daughter. I knew what it was like to have kids, and I know what fun is all about. But anyways, we got married at David's house. He's so kind that it was in Brentwood, which I stay away from. But it was in Brentwood.
Rockingham?
Close.
Yeah.
But, David's got a beautiful
I'm sure.
lawn that we got. He walked my wife, Shang-Yi, down the lawn, and I did my speech, and I said, thank you for the house. This is great. No charge. And then I said, thanks. But the best part was that I said, I thank you for not inviting Nordberg, which was OJ's character in Naked Gun. So David was there, and it was great.
Your wife's name is Chunky?
Chunky, no, that's a peanut butter.
She's a junkie? Shunky?
Shang-Yi. Oh, you got the S right there.
Yeah. Oh, it's an S. She's really nice and lovely.
Yeah, she's great. She's great sense of humor.
Yeah.
She's from Beijing,
Doesn't
China.
speak a word of English, but, she knows when to
need to.
laugh.
Yeah.
She sees people around her laughing. She joins in. Yeah. You were correcting her English the other day.
I always do. Basically, I told her we should just do our YouTube channel. We'll be like the Ricky and Lucy, but from Beijing.
Yeah, she's great. Does she work?
Yeah. Oh, she does a thing for the Chinese QVC. So she's like one of the models for it.
Oh,
shoot that.
Interesting.
So,
how do we know she's not a spy for TikTok?
I ask her all the time.
Yeah.
Because
have you debugged your house? Have you looked?
I haven't.
Okay, I would.
But
I have a friend in the FBI. I can
come by.
Yeah, well, I'm sweep the house.
When I look at my Instagram, I always have these ads that come up and go, do you know if your phone's bugged or not? And I never follow it because it's too complicated to find out if your phone's bugged or not.
She really could be a spy. Like, think about it. Like, where did you meet her?
I met her at the through a gentleman through Wizard World, because we were taking Wizard World to China.
Yeah, she's a
so
spy.
I met her. So I met her through the app called WeChat. We started chatting, and the guy that set it up, he introduced me. She moved to Redondo, and then we started dating.
Yeah, she's a spy. Yeah, this was all. She's a plant.
Oh, Fang Fang.
Yeah.
Eric Swalwell,
it'd be
the
great.
Democrat House congressman. He dated a Chinese spy.
Yeah,
and he's in Congress still.
Oh, it would be great if the second chapter of your life was, it turns out, Kato married a spy, and you brought down all of America.
That's right.
Yeah,
I know Spy Kato.
So wait a minute.
Orny told me you're a spy.
Yeah. You're in Wisconsin. You're growing up.
Yeah.
What the hell made you move to California?
Well, I went to Wisconsin, Eau Claire. I played baseball. My whole goal was high school I went to was one of the largest in Milwaukee. We went to state. I was a pitcher, did really well. Then I played baseball. Wisconsin, Eau Claire, second biggest to Madison. Made the varsity freshman year, and I said And then I had a TV show called Kato and Friends at Wisconsin. That aired all over the close to Minneapolis. Eau Claire's up
Can we
north
see clips of
Wisconsin.
that? I'd like to see clips of that.
Oh, it's somewhere on YouTube.
Yeah.
Kato and Friends.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? I should be coming out to L.A. This is where I have to go. Took a trip to L.A. with a buddy of mine, and we landed in L.A. This is the 80s, and it was Redlands, California. And I was like, where's...
What do you mean? The plane didn't land at LAX?
It landed at LAX, but the business the father had to do with their family was all in Redlands. So I had no idea, because it was the first time even on a plane.
Yeah.
So
you didn't come out here for acting?
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
That was a first trip. Then
Okay.
then I was sold. I said, we got to come out here.
Right.
We got to come out here. So we did. And he was trying to get into acting. We started a little comedy bits. So I started doing, he went back.
Yeah.
So I drove down to Comedy Store a few times. And I'd be up at 1 a.m.,
Yeah.
2 a.m. It was very difficult. Waited in line because I was a nobody.
Right.
And eat hot dogs at Carney's.
Okay. Still
And
there.
that was it. Still there.
I think
And
Marlon
actually,
Brando ate hamburgers at Carney's, right?
He ate something, a lot of them.
Yeah, I think he ate Johnny Depp or something
yeah.
a lot. Like,
Oh, wow.
I think I read that somewhere. But wait a minute. Here's my confusion about how this business works. You're friends with one of the biggest producers. Why can't they just, Zucker, why can't they just throw you in films?
Well, I did basketball. It was after. You know, what's funny is I never hung out with OJ. I never did anything except he came to my door. I didn't know we were going to the famous McDonald's. I just invited myself because Orny at that time, I used to run like 15 miles and play basketball.
Yeah.
I used to go crazy. And so I invited myself.
What's
There was a big thing in the trial where the timeline was a trip to McDonald's. I didn't know McDonald's. That's not my kind of food.
right?
He just drove to a McDonald's. So it became the most important part.
Which McDonald's? Is that the one on Sunset that's now
No,
gone?
no. It's in Brentwood, and the cops somewhere in Santa Monica Boulevard. It went to the one that the cops would go, why did they go to that one? I said, I don't know. I didn't know where we're going. He's just driving.
Is there...
And-
yeah, go ahead.
And so he's driving it, and then I was in his Bentley, and he ordered, I think it was 2 quarter pounders, but he ate them immediately, and I waited with a chicken
Yeah.
a sandwich. I didn't eat in the car because I thought, you know, I was kind of being this obsequious guy, like, oh, it's O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat in his Bentley. So I walked in towards his house, but he never left the foot of his car. So it's 25 yards away. It's like, oh, he doesn't want me to be there. So that timeline was the last I saw of him. And then I went and called my buddies up. So all my phone records are there.
Oh.
Like, I just had dinner with O.J., chicken McNuggets. And then that became the most important part of, that's the last I saw of him. And then the limo driver saw him.
Before the trial.
This is all that night of the murders.
So wait a minute. You're saying that he killed 2 people or allegedly killed 2 people and then went to McDonald's?
No. That drive, when he came to my door, asked me if I could break $100 bill, it was him, in hindsight, thinking he's setting up an alibi. He didn't expect me to go, can I go? I'm starving. And he took a very uncomfortable beat and a pause. And I knew that I never should have asked him that because I was kind of like stepping my bounds. I'm living in his place. He goes, oh, yeah, sure. So I went along for this drive. And while I thought we were going to eat together, he never left his car door. And then I went back to my guest house.
But I'm
So that timeline is probably when he left to go and do the murders.
Oh, so you...
Allegedly.
So...
That's how the police have their timeline. Oh. So that was a big part of the trial.
Was there video footage of you guys at McDonald's? No. Did he go in or just you went in?
No, it's drive-through.
Drive-through?
Drive-through.
So that was the last time you were with him right before he committed, or allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, and then...
Why do when can we stop saying allegedly? Ever?
That's a great...
Would have been nice if he just clarified for us what exactly happened right before he died.
And I wonder if he did that, if he made penance at all. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Is there anything about this trial or any facts about you and OJ that have never been revealed publicly?
No. I don't think so. I interviewed with the prosecution defense hours and hours and over a week with the prosecution.
Yeah.
I was a witness, so they knew pretty much everything. And on my show, 1 Degree Scandalous, we're bringing in all the people connected to the trial.
Marsha Clark and
Darwin. We're trying to get Marsha and Chris. But we're doing all the people with the timeline first. So our detective, Tom Lang, the lead detective, Vanetter died. So we had Lang, but Lang was the detective and wrote a book called Evidence Dismissed. It's amazing. Then we had the limo driver. Then we had the guy who saw him go into the bag.
Really?
All of these people are so credible.
Yeah, that's
honestly
so cool.
And the reason that they didn't call these people, like the Skip Junis was on our show, he wasn't even called as a witness, and he's so important to the trial.
Really? How so?
Because he saw OJ get out of the limo. He saw him go into a bag.
This is the American Airlines guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he just saw this, but they didn't bother.
Why is that?
I think because they have so much. The prosecution has how they want to do their case. They want to stay focused on just, okay, we'll do this. We won't keep this. But I don't think they realize so much of the DNA, how important it was, and they didn't know how to explain to a jury.
Yeah, that was because that was new at the time, DNA.
Yeah.
I love that Mark Furman guy who's like, oh, I never use the N-word. Then they find a tape of him modifying the N-word with the N-word.
Yeah, DNA, and they asked me about that stuff. To me, it just meant dude needs apartment. Seriously, Orny, what kind of show is this?
Kato, that's why you had to stand in line at the Comedy Store. That's some of the worst comedy I've ever heard. Look at you looking down at my notes.
Your notes are just scribbled. I can't even read your notes.
Come on, these notes are great. Tell me everything I need to know about Phil Spector. What was this? What?
I was going to say, do your website again.
Yeah.
People have to see you. People have to see
Well, I'll tell you this. We're going to tease that. I want to thank the listeners. I want to thank the subscribers to my Patreon. The people watching this on YouTube. Wow. People can watch the new episode. So let me explain to you how this works. Kato Kaelin. The audio, I bought that coming back from Sedona.
That's Spector, James Bond. That's Morte. That's the opening scene. That's the character he dressed as.
Oh, really?
I just had to tell you, I'm a big Bond fanatic.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can say.
I want to thank the... so listen, tonight, this will come out on within 24 hours. If not the actor, Eric Stoltz, can finish it. He already texted me, he goes, I'm very busy today. This guy's already too busy. I made him what he is.
Name drop my name.
You tell him, Kato.
Actually, don't do that.
Yeah. So it will be up the audio, and then the video will be on my Patreon immediately. And then within a few weeks, the video ends up on YouTube. That's how, I get people, I hook them to sign up for my Patreon because I'm sitting here alone. I do this alone. Like right now, wouldn't it be nice if somebody could hand me a piece of paper or like on a screen, it said the name of the Durst documentary? So it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, it's I see it because the ad comes up immediately. Starts with a J.
The Jinx. Jinx.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's the Jinx.
That was teamwork. Right. That was teamwork.
That's why I don't need a producer. I need nobody. Do you realize
K-Train.
I just got back. I was in Halifax, Ottawa, and then Boston for a week.
That's
and
tough.
then
3 hour difference, right?
4 hours for Halifax.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And took it all out of me. And then I invited you to come on the podcast. So I land and I'm scrambling. I gotta charge all the cameras. I have to make the
You're
the
back
SD
today
cards.
or yesterday?
Yesterday.
It's still tough.
Yeah, it's still
the
tough.
time zones are just.
I don't travel well.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I'm the exact as same as you.
Oh, let's read a couple of emails just so you know, and you can correspond.
When you do that, I have a question for you, so I don't make sure I don't forget.
Yeah,
what Patreon is?
You don't know what this is?
Is it a company that is because people have said something to me about this.
Yeah,
I don't know, and you seem educated.
Okay, so what Patreon is, it's a place for you to put your videos up, and you can charge users. So for me, it's $5 a month, and the only reason I do it is there are no ads here, and I do everything myself. So it's really the only way to generate revenue. And most people, you could wait a couple of weeks or you could listen to the audio, but they see it as a way of supporting the artist, which I think is really cool because the world has changed. I was trying to tell Jay Leno this, that we don't depend on NBC anymore. We don't depend on these streamers. We can do it ourselves and make a good money. And there's a lot of people who are like, screw the streamers and the corporations. We're going to support the individual artists that we like. So you could put your podcast up there or the one that you do with Ginseng and and monetize it.
So people pay $5 a month or
$5
and you don't
10,
pay anything?
15. No. Well, they take a percentage,
Okay.
Greedy Patreon people. They take a percentage, but it's a good way.
Which is a good thing.
If you want to keep in touch, the email is what'swrong@ornyadams.com. I want to say somebody commented, Jason, on a past episode, I talked about how mustard doesn't taste the same since COVID. He said, I have to try Reyes mustard. It's been around since 1900s. R-A-Y-E-S. I'm spelling it because I'd like them to send me some mustard.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I love mustard.
It's made the old-fashioned way in New England. See the video below. He gave me a link. He's probably gonna hijack my computer.
Horseradish mustard is my fave.
Yeah, he says it's a real deal. And we should swap mustards. And the best, in my opinion, he said, continue the good daily fight, Orny. So if you want to correspond, it's what'swrong@ornyadams.com. I'll read 2 more. This is from Michael. First off, your live stand-up show is hilarious. I listened to the Adam Carolla podcast on a daily basis, and now also your podcast, and first discovered you on his platform. A lot of my listeners aren't very good at constructing sentences, and then I have to read it, then I look like an idiot. Like this should say, I listened to Adam Carolla show. It should say, I listen to the Adam Carolla show every day, and now I listen to your podcast. No, I discovered you on the Adam Carolla podcast, which I listen to every day. There. Yes. Now I listen to your podcast, too, as well. Then he says, the two of you together makes for a great listen. I can't take this. Very rarely does Adam have a guest on his show that is as quick-witted and as funny as him. See, now I like the guy. With that being said, my wife and I decided to attend one of your shows, and we were sure happy we did. We saw you at the Chicago Improv in Rosemont. I think it's not in Rosemont. I don't know. That is in the basement.
Yeah, I think it's in Rosemont.
No, it's in Schaumburg.
Oh.
Schaumburg. Yeah. But it's the Midwest. It's close to you.
It's a cheese.
Yeah. And you delivered big time. You brought tears to my wife's eyes because she was laughing so hard. Also, it was a pleasure meeting you after the show. And yes, we bought 2 shirts. We are looking forward to being at your show when you come back to Rosemont. Well, got news for you, Mike. I'm not coming back to Rosemont. I'm coming back to Schaumburg.
I like that. He never mentioned mustard.
No, never. No, this guy's not a real fan. Keep doing what you do because the hard work pays off. I don't see it that way. Sincerely, Michael. Got to cross off his name. P.S. The ACE Award you won on, this is the Adam Carolla show, gives away awards every year.
Oh, now, Carolla does? Okay.
Yeah, why I'm not guest of the year, I'll never understand. I mean,
is it for money or no money?
No, there's no money. And I was going to, when they announced the winners, I was going to send a homeless person, an unhoused person, to accept the award on my behalf. Is what I was going to do. He said, the ACE Award you won was for most awkward moment from the terrible take you had on the Spanish soccer coach. Adam's opinion is the correct one. That's when I go, screw this guy, Michael. He's siding with Adam Carolla. A sellout.
That's right.
Can't stand that guy.
Ouch.
Yeah. Orny, this is another one. This is from Lisa. I found you through Jim Clemente's podcast last year. You have put a new fun dimension into my podcast library. Thank you for all the laughter. I hope you make your way to Phoenix area sometime soon. Would love to see you live. You're amazing. Lisa M. I hope to get to Phoenix too, but I don't know. I don't have an agent or a manager. I sort of do it all on my own.
Eric Stoltz, I'm blowing my nose. Hold on. This is for you.
Oh, jeez. Mark it. I'm going to write it down. 108. What? Is there like...
I never got allergies before until this last 2 years.
Till this podcast? Is there a way... It feels like you're blowing your nose at 100. Is there a way for you to...
No, it's clear.
But could you do like...
No,
for like 10 seconds?
No, I waited the half hour. I said, nope, it's full. Yeah. Now it's going to have another refill.
I want to...
I'm going to leave this here too. Can I sign this for you?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Can I sign it?
Put it in your pocket. I don't want to... now I have to disinfect the entire...
It's on my phone.
Oh, it's on your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was on my Shasta. My vintage Shasta. You know, at the beginning I talked about... what kind of vacuum cleaner do you have?
Hoover.
You do?
Yeah, I have a Hoover. Oh, I have 2 vacuum cleaners. I gave one to my neighbor, Oric. And that's a great one.
What about that one that everyone talks about? I
think it's Oric.
Dyson.
Dyson, that's a good one.
So I want a Dyson.
Yeah.
I'd like Dyson. I'm talking to you, Dyson. I'd like you to send me one of your, like, they're $1,500.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I talk about it on my podcast.
It's on tile.
Yeah, but they have special ones for floors like this. And then my home is hardwood floors.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like Dyson. I reached out to them on social media, and then a bot responded. Like Dyson's too good to have somebody responding to their emails.
So can you do that? Can you say I'll mention you on my show and you show me your
absolutely?
Numbers? God, that's a great
do
idea.
it too. I've got Coachella Valley Coffee. I use their mug. They saw me using their mug. They sent me free coffee.
You have a chip in your mug, so you need a new mug.
I need a new mug. Yeah, there's a chip in that. All the blinds in my house, select blinds. The my hot tub. Blanking on the name right now. I got an e-bike from Super 73. So yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so I don't have sponsors, but people, and then I talk about it. So I just yesterday went to REI. I'm a member now, and I bought a helmet for my bike, and I bought some locks, and I'm going to take it from Venice all the way to Malibu, and then I'll review it, and I'm sure I'll love it. So why should I pay for a vac if I talk about it? Like if they give it to me and I love it.
I love that. So how do you, when you get the bike and all that, do you mention the bike first and then tell them it's going to be on the show?
No, these people just sent it to me. They reach out via email. I just got one for backpacks. I got the cameras, security in my house was some of the cameras I have were given to me. Yeah.
This is great.
Well, I mean, think about it. If I talk about it in thousands
We're
of
doing
people,
great numbers on my show. I got we have Aura security. So, but we're not Patreon. We're starting with the ad revenue, but now we're hitting like pretty big numbers.
Really, I definitely want to come on then.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah. So the reason I knew about Costco's return policy was I was considering buying
Costco.
Yeah.
Expensive though.
Remember I talked about at the beginning.
No, but the company you mean.
No, not the whole Costco, but I wish. It's public. I was thinking of buying my vacuum cleaner there, my Dyson. So I wanted to know, like, how long, was it 90 days? But apparently some people return their Dyson 2 years later after, like, an attachment didn't work.
The refrigerator was returned. It was rusty.
Yeah, so they have a very liberal return policy as long as you go in the right door, which is what I talked about at the beginning.
And you remember.
Yeah, so I was in shock after that woman yelled at me. I couldn't believe it. She was very aggressive, the return lady at the Costco. And my dad said, king of the dumps. King of the dump. And he always said that expression growing up, that she's the king.
King of the dump.
Yeah,
I like that expression.
Yeah, so I wanted to know where this idiom came from. What was the etymology? So I started to Google it, found nothing. So now I need to ask my dad. Maybe it's provincial to Lawrence, Massachusetts, where he's from, or Massachusetts. And so as I'm Googling it, I found, which we're all familiar with, the expression down in the dumps. Right?
King of the dumps.
King of the dumps.
Down in the dumps, you're sad, bad day. I'm just down in the dumps.
Right. Do you know where that came from, the derivation?
Of down in the dumps?
Yep. And you do?
Yeah.
What is it?
That it goes all the way back to the Flintstones. It was an episode because Fred was at the Slater mining the dumps of that stuff, and Barney would say, "Yeah, down in the dumps," because he would do the spilling of the forklift. You know that, right? Slater Company. You watch Flintstones?
Wait a minute. Are you being serious?
No.
The idiom. Oh, God. I'm sitting there going, I think I just found the clip that's going to go viral. I mean, you've given me nothing to go viral today, Kato.
No comment.
Come on. Come on. Blow the lid on the National Examiner. How much did we get? Screw, they're not going to sue you. They're not even in business anymore. Oh, boy. Boy, they scared you. You're so scared.
Down in the dumps.
Okay, the idiom down in the dumps, feeling depressed, miserable, melancholy, is said to have originated from Dumpos, an Egyptian king who died of melancholy. The phrase has been used by Shakespeare in The Taming of the Shrew and by Sir Winston Churchill, who changed the phrase to black dog. The noun dumps has been used to describe a state of depression since the early 1500s, which I think predates the Flintstones, which was out in the 70s, 1970s and 80s.
No, but the actual Flintstones are cavemen, so you're wrong.
Yeah, the first record we have of Down in the Dumps is Frances Gross's a book called Priceless Vocabulary: The Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue, 1785.
Wow, how much it cost? No, but seriously. Yeah. Wow, can you imagine being a king called King Dumpos?
Yeah,
that's pretty depressing right there. Holy
I mean, if
he
you're
died of being melancholy.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why if you're the king,
that's before Xanax, obviously, or any kind of depression.
Yeah, what drugs are you on now?
Zero.
None.
I had 1 cup of coffee today.
And you're very happy.
Yeah,
you're a happy person.
You know what? I'll be serious for a second. I really believe it's because of my parents, how they'd always would say, "Life is so short, enjoy it." And I see that now because I'm older. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's like, you know what? It can end, like you said, no tomorrow.
Yeah.
What was that from?
Well, hold on. Well, I'll play that for you.
Yeah,
hold on a second. That is
that is Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy Hagar. Which for Van Halen for years I was never Sammy Hagar. I was all David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
And then I heard this. You want to hear the whole speech? Listen to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put your headphones on. I'll play
I'll tell you a story about David Lee Roth.
He said, then I'm leaving. We have to do that. Phil Spector. Then yeah. Hold on. So listen to this. This is the entire David Lee Roth.
Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar, rather. Let's see if this is it. Listen to this. So I would hear this all the time when I would listen to Sirius XM. Yeah. They have a live rock station. I love it. I listen to it probably more than anything.
What number is it?
It's only on the app. I don't get it in
okay.
my car.
Got it.
I listen to that and yacht rock.
Yeah.
And then news. And I hear this song all the time. And I'm like, this is such a great speech. This guy's like, he's like Buddha, Sammy Hagar. Like, it was a joke to me. I thought he was just a Cabo Wabo guy. Then you hear this and the guy's right. He talks about like how the rest of the band is partying, but he's in his hotel room alone thinking about tomorrow when he should have been thinking about tomorrow. And so I think this is,
like it.
Oh, you're going to love this. Panama.
Yeah.
We've been looking forward to this show. We were off last night, sitting around here in Fresno with nothing to do. So all I was doing was thinking about tonight, you understand? That's what happened. Was when I was sitting around thinking about tonight, my boys in the band were having a party over at the hotel. They had about 15 ugly chicks up there, and I was sitting in my room watching TV. If that ain't a bunch of bullshit, I don't know what is.
It sounds like bullshit to me.
Yeah. You're a rock star.
Come on.
The problem is I learned my lesson real quick because I was worried about tonight, last night. And last night, I should have been worried about last night. And the night before that, I should have been worried about that night. Because worrying about tomorrow is a bunch of shit. Because tomorrow may not never come. Tomorrow, there's no guarantee about tomorrow. Help tomorrow.
I got to get his calendar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Did your parents,
Yesterday,
were they as eloquent as this?
That is my dad.
That is? I like the way he shits on Fresno. It's nothing to do with Fresno.
all you got to worry about is right here.
Right now. So what did your parents do?
My parents, my mom was a nurse, and my dad owned 2 restaurants and
Oh, really?
liquor sales. So we always had ample liquor, and that's probably why I didn't drink. And my parents didn't really drink, so we always had in the basement in Wisconsin a cage with locks on it. My dad would have all the liquor for his restaurants, and if other people needed it.
Oh.
So I grew up with that. I just remember.
And what kind
growing
of restaurants?
up. I guess you compare them to a steak and potato. It's very big.
And did you work in them when you
casking.
were younger?
Yeah, I would clean them up as a kid.
Like underage labor?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, as a kid, my grandparents were alive, so we'd like the night before, we'd like clean ashtrays out and put it in their wash machine.
Yeah.
But you know what? People in Wisconsin drink, so it's a great business.
Well, it's
to
like
have.
Fresno. There's nothing
Yeah.
else to do.
Oh no, it's totally different. If you're from Wisconsin, it's so sports related. They live for the summer and they live for the Green Bay.
I've done great
Packers.
shows in
Green
Wisconsin.
Bay Packers. It's like it's the most loyal people in the world.
Yeah, I used to do private shows for this insurance company. Begins with an A. It's the biggest. I have the biggest.
American Family Field.
No,
That's the biggest one because they just changed Miller Park. The Brewers play is now American Family Field.
Yeah, I love
something with an A.
Yeah,
Amco.
no.
Things that start with A. Pass. Next one.
5 questions. I only have 3. Let's play a game called Kato Goes. Let's play 5 questions, and then you only had 3 questions. You ran out of questions.
I was like, oh, that's right, Cambodia thing.
But wait a minute, that Flintstone thing, did you make up that story?
Yes.
That was great.
Yes.
That was really, I'm proud of you. You're back after
Yeah,
that
baby.
shitty joke. All right, Phil Spector story.
True Phil Spector story.
Yeah.
Phil Spector. This is
My dad's a
before-
huge fan.
Okay, so this is before Phil Spector.
Another great
I love the
killer.
Beatles. I like John. Yeah.
Another great murderer.
Before this happened, before any killing.
Mm-hmm.
In the 90s, after the trial, I was very, very popular. I mean, I got invited everywhere in the world and people wanted to meet. Phil Spector called the publicist that I had at the time, said, I want to meet Kato Kaelin. So they set it up. I said, oh my God, Phil Spector, the Wall of Music, John Lennon, who I loved, Beatles stuff. I said, okay. And so I went to a music studio where he's mixing Celine Dion's Christmas album. Every A-list person from Danny DeVito was at the time in the 90s. Danny DeVito, Penny Marshall, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. Oh, God, there were so many more. I haven't written down. Not Madonna. It was just incredible people that were at this Celine Dion Christmas album. Her husband Renee, At this time, she's one of the most popular places. It's not my kind of music, but I said, oh, sure, I'll go. I go, Phil Spector's at the mixing board like you have here, and all these people are in this room watching this album being mixed, and he says, Kato Kaelin, you're sitting right next to me. I love your energy, but it's Phil Spector doing this. I said, okay, sure. I felt the room handed me immediately.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I said, why does he get to, Spector? He did not let me leave that seat for over 8 straight hours.
Yeah.
Finally, I peed, and he stopped the
On
session.
Phil Spector?
He stopped the session on Celine Dion.
Come on.
He stopped.
For Kato Kaelin?
She did.
Bathroom break?
I didn't know that. I just left for the bathroom. At that time, Green Day was just starting.
Yeah.
They said, oh, we got to get photos. So I walked around. I did photos, and I didn't know. I'm walking around meeting people in the studio. It's a big studio in Sunset where all people are doing the major albums. The publicist is running going, Kato, Phil Spector is going crazy. You won't do Celine Dion's album until you're sitting there. Wow. So I was going for like 15 minutes. So I get back. I had no idea of that he was like obsessed, crazy. Yeah. He made her do the same part of the song over. It seemed like an hour, and it seemed perfect to me. She just kept making her do it over and over and over, and you could see that she's at the wall with the glass wall, and she's like, you could see she's totally upset. Like, what is this? Yeah. Why is this guy producing this album? And then I went on to become his friend. I introduced him to a guy named Matt Sorum. He was the drummer with Guns N' Roses
and Famous Killers. You're friends with.
I said it. I should be.
I don't want to be your friend.
Kato says, I'm good. I am not the crazy one. I attract crazy, Orny.
Yeah, but you have nice energy. You have nice energy that killers want to be around.
Isn't that weird?
It's really weird. Like, I was just thinking, I love your energy. Yeah. Like, this is an amazing podcast. It's flowing well. We've been doing over an hour, and it feels effortless. And now I'm starting to question myself because you're only friends with people that kill people.
Yeah, I don't know guns, nothing. I'm all about love, I swear to you. But I think crazy people, I agree with you, are attracted to good energy, maybe. I don't know what it is. Robert Blake, The Mansion.
Don't tell me you're friends with Robert Blake, too.
Well, I met him at The Mansion a few times. He's always like, hey, Kato, how you doing? But I didn't hang out with him. Spector, I went out with him a few times with buddies of mine because he invited me to a party. It was Ringo Starr's. Ringo Starr had a birthday party, and everybody that I loved in music was there. It was his birthday party. His wife, Barbara Bach. This is Phil Spector. Phil Spector. By the way, I'm not like a buddy. I got a buddy of mine. It's like me bringing you. It's like, we're going to this party.
Yeah.
I love it. My buddy's going, this is going to be great. We go to the party. Phil Spector would not go inside the house like a vampire until he's invited in by the host. So this party's going on. We're outside for 20 minutes until they find Ringo. And Ringo says, Phil, great to see you. Come on in. So he comes in. I get to go in. But I meet all the traveling Wilburys. I meet
Dylan.
Everybody.
Dylan was there?
I'm pretty positive Dylan. Everybody was at Ringo's party. When I say every young
Tom Petty.
Petty was there. It was, I remember meeting Jeff Lynne.
Oh my God. What if
Jeff Lynne and Phil Spector did not like each other because Jeff Lynne got picked to be the producer of the Wilburys and George Harrison, and they're all together, and they got rid of Spector, and they started yelling. So Jeff Lynne goes, "Why does he hate me?" I have no idea.
You're in the middle of a beef between Jeff Lynne and Phil Spector?
Like, well, we're just going crazy, and I'm just having the time of my life. And then Phil Spector, I think he's godfather to Julian Lennon or Sean, one of the Lennons of John's kids, and he always had a candle. And I watched the Mike Tyson fight with Spector with my buddies at another event of his at his house.
Could he have normal conversations,
at
Spector?
The mansion where
the murder happened. Lana Turner?
Lana Clarkson. Yeah, who I didn't know, but I'm sure she was beautiful. And I met him at the House of, I used to go to the House of Blues. So Spector took us to the House of Blues, but I was not there in the night. And I kept going, oh my God. When I saw the news, I said, please do not. I honestly was praying to God going, do not make me a witness in this trial.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
That was after the OJ? That was, right?
After the OJ.
And by the way, Lana Clarkson, they treated similarly on this. She was dead, but at the trial, they crapped all over her acting career like Marcia Clark did to you. It's like
they want to paint him. Well, I think his lawyers did, not theirs. They painted a picture of her that was it was not a pretty picture.
No, they played
And
a
it's like
demo
she's
reel
just-
of hers
She's
that
lost
was
her life. She's a beautiful person.
right.
So the whole time that this is going on, there's an article in the LA Times of
Yeah.
me with Phil Spector. I probably have it at home and I have a picture. And I knew at a point I was scared of him myself. He would not let me leave. He would keep me out 16 hours. And Matt Sorum, if you ever get him on, he'll back these stories up.
I'd love to have him on,
Yeah,
whoever this
so,
is.
Matt was the group he started with called the Cults, and then Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
He's the drummer.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. So he got to drum in the session, and Phil paid him cash, and I was like, "Where's mine?
Yeah.
I got nothing."
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you.
So nothing was made. But really, and the story was at this time that I don't know what's going on. Tom Cruise has the rights to Phil Spector, his life story, but he hasn't done the movie yet because there was no ending. Now there's an ending.
What? That he killed somebody?
That he's dead. That his story of how he had Ronnie Spector, how he had the, I think it's called the Wall of Sound.
Wall of Sound?
Wall of Sound. How I guess he beat her
Yes,
up.
it was
I
abusive
guess
to her.
allegedly abusive. It's like all this ties in, and there's a story that insane people, and maybe I should just. I did a podcast with Sean Avery, who was a great guy. Sean Avery played Hockey Islanders, and he's a stud. He's also an Oppenheimer. And he just said, Kato, after this show, he goes, you got to get some director like a Tarantino or someone that's got to have your vision of what you're going on, because this stuff is really, Orny, it's insane.
It's insane. So I want to ask you, like, in regards to OJ and Phil Spector, was there anything you saw that you said, this could be a violent person? Like, this person scares me. Did your skin crawl ever?
More on Phil Spector, because I actually saw that he had a gun.
Yeah.
And at one time he pulled out the gun, and I don't like guns.
Yeah.
And it was at a Mexican restaurant. Like, I'll tell you when to leave, of putting a gun on a table or something. I was like, that's a gun.
Wow.
So that stuff scared me, that I knew what already. I'm thinking, this guy's kind of on the crazy side, because I saw how he mixed the album with Celine Dion. And I think if you can get that person to go that one extra step to go crazy, it's like, this is not safe. I want to get out of here.
Yeah.
And many times I felt like, I got to get out of here. I feared for my life.
I didn't know this.
It's sort of like, if someone's that crazy that they could go off the edge.
So why did you keep hanging out with him?
I didn't keep hanging out.
You didn't?
No, I do it a few things. When I was with my buddy of mine, his name Will Stump, who was so into music, when I took him to Ringo's party, it was all around other people. But at the sound mixing and with Matt Sorum I was with, it was cool, and it was okay. We're gonna be all right. But I didn't hang out one-on-one.
How did you find out about the murder?
Of his in the news.
Just in the news?
Yeah.
How about OJ?
OJ was because I was detectives came to my room at 5 a.m. And then when they escorted me into the main house, I heard the detective Lang say to the parents that your daughter has been killed. I don't think he said murdered, killed. So we knew that. Wow. And OJ was not. He was in Chicago for all I knew.
Yeah.
And so they were just checking because they saw the blood followed, and they was like, "Oh God, maybe someone's dead here too."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Edge of my seat right now, thinking about how
these are incredible stories.
Yeah, the Phil Spector and OJ's like to write this stuff, and there's.
Have you talked about the Phil Spector before?
No. I mentioned not as in depth with you, but the Phil Spector one, I have pictures, and it's just, yeah, it's a real story in itself.
And how do you reconcile, like, listening to Phil Spector's music, or Michael Jackson, which allegedly?
Well, the thing is with Phil Spector, it's because all the Lennon stuff is all love, and he did "Love Is Real." It's like Spector was doing these beautiful songs, and you think of what he did, that wasn't about that.
Well, I'll say
his son died too. So his son died the same day Lennon. There's a thing that I gotta Google.
There's a great documentary called Spector. Everybody should watch it.
Is there really?
It is. It's a 4-part documentary. I think it's on Max.
There's also James Bond film called Spector.
Yeah. It's really. Is that an impersonation of me? Yeah.
No. That was me trying to do Sean Connery.
That was me. I go, this is great. Kato has an Orny impression.
007. But Orny, I can do you too.
Let's hear it. Kato Kaelin.
Kato Kaelin.
Doing Orny Adams.
Hey, I'm Kato Kaelin. Great to see you.
Oh, that's me?
I can't get YouTube. Halifax, call me.
I'm yelling and I'm doing the masturbation
Guy's at Costco, and he's got a rusted refrigerator.
I noticed when I was doing that up front, my little,
That was great.
I go, Kato's scared. Like you were backing your chair.
Oh, no,
going,
I was
no, we might have another incident.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do we even want to go into the Van Halen story? Or should we just end it now?
Oh yeah, I guess the Van Halen story is just that David Lee Roth at March 9th is my birthday. Many years ago, over 20 years ago or so, Charlie Sheen threw a birthday party for me, and at his house on Mulholland Lake. It was the greatest party ever. But David Lee Roth was at the party also, and we set up karaoke. And but I hung out with David. Everybody was doing. I called it Kato Roki. So, but everybody was doing stuff, and we just had an absolute ball.
What's your karaoke song?
My go-to, probably "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds." I do.
Interesting. And
I do a few others, but I'll save it.
Did David Lee Roth sing?
Everybody sang. I'll
tell us.
David Lee. He didn't do Van Halen. I think he did. I think he did a Roy Orbison song though, and it wasn't Pretty Woman.
Huh.
I can't. It was a crazy night. I
is-
actually was there at my birthday party with Bill Maher. So Bill and I used to hang out a lot in the 90s.
What was that like?
It was the best. It was two guys. I was single, he's single, and we just would go to the Sunset Marquee. The whiskey bar was the place to go, owned by Randy Gerber, who married Cindy Crawford. But everybody would be at that bar at the whiskey. It was a very tough ticket to get in.
Yeah.
So it'd be there, but from U2 to the Stones.
Well, how do you connect with Bill Maher?
Bill, I did Politically Incorrect, and it was a high-rated show. And I had all these offers, and I said, no, I want to do that show. And at that time, it was Gary Shandling was the guest. So Gary picked on me, but I had comebacks, and they were like, "Oh, Kato's funny." So
Kato. Shandling was a personal friend of mine.
I love Shandling.
I
love his documentary too.
Yeah, he had the greatest Robert Blake joke. He said, let me get this straight. Robert goes out to eat with his wife. They walk back to the car, realizes that he left his gun in the restaurant, goes back to get the gun, comes back, his wife is shot dead. Nobody's that lucky. Something like that.
Yeah, I love it.
He was, boy, I didn't realize you were so connected. I would have been nicer to you because I really feel like you could advance my career with all these connections you have.
Yeah, this is
I can see it.
Robert Blake Hitchhiker. You don't want to drive shotgun. That's the other one too.
I'll say this: the minute, what is that? Robert Blake.
Yeah, Robert Blake.
You were in the car with him?
No, but he's got the mansion. Like, you don't want to ride shotgun with him.
Yeah,
because
you do have an infectious energy. Like I can see why these killers want to be your friend. I could see, I can feel it.
Killers, life is precious.
What are you working on? What do you want to plug? How do people get in touch with you? Do you have Instagram?
I think
TikTok, YouTube.
Yeah, I do Instagram at Kato_Kaelin, Kaelin, Kato_Kaelin. I do some crazy stuff with airports. I'm meeting with I hate to say this, influencer company.
Yeah,
because my airport stuff is.
What are you doing with airports?
You have to go to my Instagram page, but I do a lot of things when people get off planes. I make it look like a horse race, from gate to gate to gate, and then I do then I just do when they walk by with coffee. I do a thing now, just a sip, where I ask people if I have a sip of their coffee.
Yeah,
they have just a sip, and they walk by.
Really?
So,
and do they know who you are?
Sometimes, yeah, and sometimes when you see it on Instagram, you'll get it because I do it and they walk right by. A lot of people are rushing to their gates.
Yeah.
So I make it very.
You're fascinating. And I regret blowing so much of the time on this podcast to OJ. I just wanted to discuss it a little bit. We never did privately. I didn't realize you had such great stories.
Oh,
Phil Spector and Van Halen and hanging out with Bill Maher, who
Bill is great.
I just met with their company. You should meet with their company. I'll set you up on a meeting.
HBO, right?
No. He has for podcasts and all that sort of stuff.
It's his own company, right?
Yeah, it's his own company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm friends with him. They took me to lunch the other day.
Did you meet with Chris?
I know who you're talking about, Chris. I did not meet with. I met with. I'm blanking on his name, but yeah, Chris. I auditioned
Chuck
for once.
Labella?
Chuck, yes.
Okay.
Oh, so you know these people?
Yeah.
Well, there's nobody I can connect you with.
No. But I just saw Chris was at Adam Carolla's.
Oh, I wish I'd known that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I auditioned. He did a pilot once. I auditioned for.
We're thinking of the same one, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you off the air what he used to. Yeah.
Yeah. I still love it because, Bill was supposed to come to a wedding. He was doing Vegas that week.
So you mentioned ELO. What's his name?
Jeff Lynne, love him.
Jeff Lynne. So Jeff Lynne, there's a guy who would come to my shows. I'd see him at my shows wearing my T-shirt. And so finally he said, how do you have my T-shirt? Who are you? And he said, I love you. I've seen you at the Ice House. I see you at the Laugh Factory, here at the Improv. And I said, what do you do? He's just like a normal looking dude. And his girlfriend said, oh, he's a musician. And the way she said it, I'm like, oh, do I know you? And it turns out that he was in ELO. He was the guitarist.
Wow.
And Mark Mann, he was a guest on this podcast. He also put the snot rag in your pocket.
I'm going to. I was going to do that for you.
He also is in he's like the Forrest Gump of guitar. Like he's in the Concert for George. So there he is playing with Ringo Starr, you mentioned, and George Harrison. And that While My Guitar Gently Weeps with Prince, the one he's in that one where Prince plays guitar. He's the lead guitar and passes it off. So he's friends with all these people. And he did a version of my theme song. I think it'd be appropriate if I end on this.
Please do.
You'll put the headsets on. This is Mark Mann doing the What's Wrong with Orny Adams theme song. These aren't real singers. This is AI.
Where?
Yeah. But he did all the music. He played the guitar and everything. What's Wrong with Orny Adams? Episode 114 with Kato Kaelin. You're an amazing guest, dude.
I love you, man. Orny Adams.
You gotta... Kato has infectious energy. Kato is loved by some of the biggest murderers in our history. Support Kato Kaelin. Go to his Instagram page.
And go to my podcast too. Please go. It's phenomenal podcast. 1 Degree of Scandalous at YouTube. Subscribe. It's free.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now, do not go to his podcast until I do it. That's what I have to say.
I like that.
I want to thank the listeners, the people who subscribe, the people who share and rate this podcast. I want to thank Eric Stoltz for polishing the podcast.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody, and we'll see you again for episode 115. Appreciate it. Dude,
thank you.
You're unbelievable. Seriously? Thank you. Oh, I just shook the snot hand.
No, I did right here. I didn't touch it with this hand.
What do you blow? Which hand do you blow with?
I didn't. Well, I never touched the. I pulled it here and put it there.
Okay, I will wash my hands.
It's an allergy.
Okay.